Welcome to JMR Talks. Today we will discuss about managers and VUCA word. VUCA has become a buzzword which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguity. Now, how managers should manage this VUCA environment of today? We have seen in our earliest videos that how important a manager's role is. Like for instance, Gallup has established long time back how important what called managers in an organization, because they are the ones who play a key role in creating a strong and vibrant work environment wherein people would love to come and give their best. But it's not that this approach or this view of manager's role was universally accepted. For instance, Google, their project Oxygen in the initial period, they had a different opinion about that. They thought managers are unnecessary evil, an extra layer in the bureaucracy. So as such, they have gone for a flat type of structure, organizational structure. But what's the result? The employees were not having any direction or guidance or something like that. As such, the production suffered. Then they dug deep and then found that there are about 10 qualities which make a great manager. In other words, indirectly they accepted how important managers are in getting the outstanding work from the people, given the fact that all of the resources are available, accessible and affordable. Now look at this VUCA word as such. This VUCA word for the first time has been used by students of US Army War College to describe the situation of the World War in terms of its volatility, uncertainty, complexity and ambiguity. Now let us look at each one of these four elements and how the managers need to adopt themselves, conduct themselves so that they can manage and the VUCA environment accordingly. Number one, look at the word called volatility. What do we mean by volatility? Frequent, rapid and what called significant changes which are beyond your comprehension. So what should be in the what called manager's approach? They should be adaptive in decision making. For instance, nothing wrong displaying their vulnerability. It's not that as a manager he will have all the answers. He has to involve his associates also in finding solutions to the problem. The second one is clarity of vision. That's very much required. Unless until manager is able to clarify and reiterate the vision and the objectives flowing from the vision for the short term as well as the medium term, the associates will not be able to put their efforts. The third and the most important is clear communication. Communication is the hallmark of management. No communication, no management. Communication should be such that in a volatile environment there is no confusion among the associates, among the employees. And the next is determine intent and resolve. Many of the managers they have very good intentions, but have they resolved to put it into action? That's what matters. Now let us look at the second, uncertainty. What do you mean by uncertainty? The outcomes are unpredictable. You're not sure what will happen. So how managers should manage this uncertainty? Be flexible to cope with the doubt, because you have certain doubts. You are not sure what's going to happen. Be flexible, willing to adopt and improve. In fact, I keep telling my students that observe, adopt and improve. The next thing they can do in an uncertain environment is build commitment and consensus. Today we are talking about great resignation. People leaving en masse their jobs. Not that they don't wish to work, but they wish to work, but they don't find the congenial environment to put in their best. Dr. T.V. Rao sir, the father of HRD concept, he says that managers need to work 24/7, 365 days on 3 C's: building culture, commitment and competency. Next one is develop new perspectives. Like in management, we say, think out of the box. Think of, what called alternatives, how the what called the problem can be, what called, attempted. Next is create risk management ideologies. When we are in an uncertain, what called environment, there is an element of what called risk. But how best, what called you can manage risk or you can minimize the risk. That's the thing. The third one is what called complexity. When we say complexity, that means there are multiple issues, multiple factors, what called, at work. So in such an environment, unless until the manager is able to understand the cause and effect of what called each and every this thing, he won't be able to give any what called, clear direction to his people as such. The next one is simplify the processes and procedures. For me, a good manager is someone who simplifies the things. What's the point in what called being bombastic, without the associates being able to understand what exactly you want? So let us what called simplify the things so that people comprehend it and what called they execute it. The third, recognize nothing is permanent. We are in a continuously evolving environment. So we must be what called ever willing and ever ready, to adapt to the what called new emerging situation. That's how the words like what called agility and resilient, have become the what called buzzwords today. The next, encourage generation of ideas. Today, you may not be having all the answers. So it's always good to what called involve the people, inform the people, and inspire them, so that they can come up with what called creative ideas and pick up the best one to what called solve the problem on hand. The last one is ambiguity. Ambiguity means there's no clarity as such. You're at the crossroads. You don't know which way to go. So in such a situation, manager needs to communicate directly. There should be what called a middleman in between, and the said communication must be clear. It must clarify the existing situation and what is going to happen, how we are going to what called deal with it. Seek alternative viewpoints. Team. Look at the acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. So let's not be under the impression that we alone have what called all the answers. Seek what called feedback from the people, from the peers, from the associates, and see how best problem could be what called resolved. Listen to divergent ideas and concepts. You don't know. Sometimes even an ordinary worker might come up with what called an extraordinary idea. A good manager has to be a good listener. There goes a story, when one of the customer of what called Nirma soap, complained that the cover doesn't contain the soap. So there was a high level what called meeting that took place. After detailed discussions, they decided to order for a what called state of the art machine for packing the soaps and all that. But at that time, one worker, came up with an idea that put up what called one pedestal fan, opposite to the point where the what called cover with the soap, goes for packing. So when you what called switch on the fan, if the cover is empty, it will blow away. So what I'm trying to say is that nothing wrong in what called listening to the people. Listen, they may be different. They have different ideas, they have different suggestions, they have different views. Listen to them and pick up the what called best. Learn lessons that can apply. Yes, we need to learn from the past. Okay, past is a history, future is a mystery, but we are living in the present. So nothing wrong in what called learning from what called past. That's fine here. Okay, fine. So having understood these four elements of volatility and what I call uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, how the manager has to what I call manage or control this VUCA environment, how they should what I call go about. This gentleman Bob Johansson, he wrote an excellent book titled Leaders Make the Future. So he says that we should identify the what I call parts while dealing with what I call VUCA. That means we must be clear about the cause and effective relationship. And he came up what I call few tips about what I call managing this VUCA environment. Number one, counter volatility with vision. We know that situations what I call volatile, but come up with what I call a clear vision as such. Second, meet uncertainty with understanding. You try to understand the prevailing situation and make the people understand. Third, react to complexity with clarity. Your associates, your subordinates, your employees looking for direction. The set direction must be clear without any ambiguity. And the last but not the least, fight ambiguity with agility. Today's situation calls for agility and resilience. So one must be constantly observing, adopting the things which are required, and then working on how best to improve. So unless until today's managers are agile, they're flexible, willing to accommodate alternative viewpoints, and able to carry the people with a clear vision, it will be very difficult to manage this VUCA environment. So in our next video, we will discuss how the managers should manage this multi-generational workforce in a VUCA world of today. Thank you.